In the waning years of the Third Age, a quiet unease settled over Middle-earth. The shadows lengthened, and whispers carried tales of a malevolent force stirring once more in the dark corners of the world. Far to the west, in the undying lands of Valinor, the Valar, guardians appointed by Ilúvatar, recognized the encroaching threat of Sauron, the fallen Maia who sought dominion over all life. Understanding that direct intervention might upset the balance of the world, the Valar convened a council to devise a subtler plan. As recounted in the Silmarillion, they resolved to send emissaries to Middle-earth, beings of great wisdom and power, yet veiled in humble forms, to counsel and inspire resistance against the growing darkness. Thus, the Order of the Istari, the Wizards, was established. Among these Maia spirits was Elrond, known in Valinor for his humility and deep compassion for the children of Ilúvatar. He was said to be the wisest of the Maia, dwelling often in the gardens of Lorien and learning pity and patience from Nienna. When the Valar selected him for the mission, Elrond was hesitant, as detailed in Unfinished Tales. But Elrond declared that he was too weak for such a task, and that he feared Sauron. Then Manwë said, "That is all the more reason why you should go, and that he should trust rather to his humility than to his powers." And it is said that Vardar looked upon him with love, and commanded him to take up this burden. Clad in grey robes and appearing as a wise old man, Elrond departed from the Undying Lands and arrived in Middle-earth, where he became known as Gandalf. His first steps led him to the Grey Havens, the harbor of the elves, where he was welcomed by Círdan the shipwright. Círdan, possessing great foresight, perceived Gandalf's true nature and the significance of his mission. In a gesture of profound trust, he entrusted Gandalf with Narya, the Ring of Fire, one of the 3 elven rings crafted by Celebrimbor. Círdan spoke to him, saying, "Take now this ring," he said, "for thy labors and thy cares will be heavy, but in all it will support thee and defend thee from weariness. For this is the Ring of Fire, and herewith maybe thou shalt rekindle hearts to the valor of old in a world that grows chill." With Narya concealed upon his hand, Gandalf set forth into Middle-earth. Unlike his fellow Istari, who sought positions of influence or secluded themselves, Gandalf chose the life of a wanderer. He traveled the length and breadth of the lands, preferring the open road to grand halls. His spirit was restless, ever eager to learn and to understand the hearts of all who dwelt in Middle-earth. In the ancient woods of Lothlorien, he met Galadriel, the Lady of Light. Their meeting was one of mutual recognition and respect. Galadriel, herself a bearer of one of the 3 rings, Nenya, the Ring of Water, perceived Gandalf's inner strength and his dedication to the cause against Sauron. She later confided to her husband Celeborn that Gandalf was the greatest of the wizards, though he did not reveal himself as such. Their conversations delved deep into the histories and the present dangers, forging a strong alliance. Venturing north, Gandalf arrived at Rivendell, the refuge of the elves ruled by Elrond half-elven. There, amidst the preserved knowledge of ages past, he delved into the rich histories documented since the First Age. Elrond shared with him tales of the wars of Beleriand, the fall of Gondolin, and the tragedy of Doriath. They spoke of the crafting of the Silmarils by Feanor, the ensuing strife, and the eventual defeat of Morgoth. Gandalf understood that knowledge of past events was crucial to countering the darkness that threatened the present. From Elrond, he learned of the lineage of men and elves, the deeds of Isildur, and the fate of the One Ring. Gandalf began to piece together the puzzle of Sauron's potential return to power, realizing that the ring might still exist somewhere in Middle-earth. Yet, Gandalf did not limit his companionship to the mighty and the wise. He spent considerable time among the Dunedain, the Rangers of the North, who were the descendants of the ancient kingdom of Arnor. They maintained a silent vigil against the remnants of evil that still roamed the wilds. Among them was Aragorn, son of Arathorn, whom Gandalf recognized as the heir of Isildur and the rightful claimant to the thrones of Arnor and Gondor. Seeing great potential in Aragorn, Gandalf nurtured a friendship and mentored him, understanding that he could play a pivotal role in the events to come. Gandalf also wandered into the Shire, a quiet land inhabited by the Hobbits. Their simple joys and unassuming nature fascinated him. In them, he saw a purity and resilience that others overlooked. He often partook in their festivals and shared stories, all the while observing and learning from their way of life. Gandalf believed that even the smallest person could change the course of the future, a belief that would later prove prophetic. Throughout his travels, Gandalf remained ever watchful for signs of Sauron's influence. He noted the darkening of the greenwood, which began to be called Mirkwood as a shadow fell upon it. Creatures of darkness stirred, and whispers spoke of a necromancer who had taken residence in the fortress of Dol Guldur. Sensing a grave threat, Gandalf ventured into Dol Guldur in disguise to uncover the identity of this necromancer. Within the desolate halls, he confirmed his fears. The necromancer was indeed Sauron, regaining strength and mustering his forces. This discovery was critical, and Gandalf understood that immediate action was necessary to prevent Sauron from fully restoring his power. He brought his findings to the White Council, which included Saruman the White, Galadriel, Elrond, and other wise leaders. Gandalf urged them to act swiftly to drive Sauron out of Dol Guldur. However, Saruman, who had grown proud and secretly desired the One Ring for himself, counseled patience and dissuaded the council from immediate action. Gandalf was troubled by Saruman's reluctance, but lacked the means to challenge his authority directly. Undeterred, Gandalf continued his quest for knowledge. He sought out ancient scrolls and lore, visiting libraries in places like Minas Tirith, where he studied the scrolls of Isildur and learned more about the fate of the One Ring. His diligence led him to suspect that the ring had not been destroyed, but remained hidden, a potential catalyst for Sauron's return to full power. Gandalf's early efforts were marked by a relentless pursuit of wisdom and a deep commitment to the free peoples of Middle-earth. He worked tirelessly to foster alliances and encourage vigilance against the encroaching darkness. His humility and willingness to walk alongside all races, elves, men, dwarves, and hobbits, allowed him to understand their strengths and weaknesses and to inspire hope where despair threatened to take hold. His journey was not without challenges. The growing darkness tested his resolve, and the subtle machinations of Saruman hinted at deeper betrayals to come. Yet, Gandalf remained steadfast, embodying the very virtues that the Valar had hoped to instill in Middle-earth. In these early days, Gandalf laid the foundation for the resistance against Sauron. His wisdom, compassion, and foresight would become the cornerstone of the struggle that would define the age. By immersing himself in the lives and histories of Middle-earth's inhabitants, he became not just a guide, but a symbol of unity and resilience. The arrival of Gandalf the Grey marked a turning point, a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the edge of shadow. His first steps in Middle-earth set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the downfall of Sauron and the salvation of all that was good and free.